Welcome to Daily Ad Brief. I'm Christina Daves, your host of More to Media, where we bring you all things marketing, media, and digital. Today, we are headed to Vienna, Virginia to meet with my dear friend, Josh Greene of the Mather Group. Welcome, Josh.
Hi, Christina. Thanks for having me on.
Well, and thanks for coming back. We've done this before and we had massive technical difficulties, and you have so much amazing stuff to share. I appreciate your time again. I want to talk about all things social presence. I have learned so much from you in the short time that I've known you, but everybody thinks they have to be on Wikipedia to be somebody. And you really debunk that for me. So why don't you share with everybody why you don't have to be on Wikipedia and you can still be a rock star?
Well, the most important thing for most people is looking at what happens when someone Googles your name or the name of your company. Wikipedia can play a role in that, but what tends to be more important is what are the immediate things that jump out and grab your attention. So what does your biography say about you on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on your own web page? Often those get overlooked and they really tell a story when someone starts to do some research when you're about to talk to them.
Yeah, one of the things you showed me, and this is for all the authors out there, I didn't realize that when you put my name into Google, the author page comes up, and I'm still trying to uncover where that author page is. I think it's buried somewhere in Amazon. But what are obviously that comes up with me when you said LinkedIn. Are there other places we should be looking, or what kind of searches should we do to try to figure out what people are actually seeing?
Yeah, the three that I'd recommend starting with would be your name, the name of your company, and the name of your company with a negative term attached to it to see what'll come up. And oftentimes, what people don't realize is a lot of those results in the first 10 on the first page are things that you can influence either on sites that you own, where you can change some of the meta descriptions and titles and influence what Google sees, to, as you said, as if you have an author bio or a bio on any of a number of social sites, whatever you're probably most frequently using is what Google will grab. And that bio is going to define yourself for some of those search results. So if you've changed jobs recently or the focus of your company has changed, those are really good to go back, take a look through the eyes of a potential customer and see what they're seeing and see if you see anything that needs changing.
Okay, tell me more about putting a Google search in though with a negative term. What do you mean by I never even thought about doing that? Give me some buzzwords.
Sure. The one that everyone always starts with and is notorious for people putting up negative sites is sucks. So if you were to Google like Baldino's Lock and Key sucks, what you'll probably see is a lot of review sites. You might not see anything specifically with that word, but it gives you a feeling for where people are reviewing and writing about you. So depending on the type of business you're in, there are almost always one or two sites devoted to that industry that might not come up on a main search, but definitely are going to come up if someone's drilling down into Virginia locksmiths, for example. And oftentimes there are some things you can do proactively in terms of dealing with those results or even the reviews themselves that will really help how you're showing up. Because oftentimes, unless you actually do something, the loudest voice is the one that's heard in the search engines.
So do you recommend on these sites like Yelp and the other types of things to reply back to people when you get the so-and-so sucks?
It really depends on the philosophy of your organization. Some organizations have a policy of never responding. Some have a policy of always responding, but with boilerplate. I think it's better to be aware and be engaged. Not least of which is a lot of the reviews that are blatantly unfair can get flagged, which tends to help your ratings if you're able to do that. But it really depends on what fits into the policy of your organization when you're making a decision how engaging you want to be. It's sort of like your decision on how involved on social media do you want to be.
It's all so fascinating to me, Josh, and the time always goes so fast. But thank you so much for sharing that. It's a wealth of knowledge, and thank you again for coming back. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on, Christina.
To learn more about Josh and the Mather Group, head over to dailyadbrief.com. I'm Christina Daves, your host of More to Media, and I'll see you next time.